Welcome back to the Classic Soap Operas podcast. Today, we're heading back to January 31st, 1985, for the next episode in the Recap Archive series of Days of Our Lives. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a really specific set of notes we got from one of you. It's all about what happened on one single day in Salem, January 31st, 1985.
That's right. And these notes are great. They're like your personal cheat sheet. We're going to cut through everything and give you, all the juicy bits, the twists, the stuff you really need to know from this one day. No need to watch hours of the show.
Exactly. So, our mission today. Unpack all this, pull out the moments that really matter, the relationship drama, the big legal fights, some seriously cutthroat fashion stuff, and even a spy plot. All happening on this Thursday.
It really is quite a mix, isn't it? You've got personal lives, professional stakes, even some, international intrigue, maybe. So, yeah, let's settle in and unpack this January 31st deep dive.
Okay, let's kick things off with, it sounds kind of confusing, but also maybe a bit sad. We start with Calliope. She's clearly upset.
Right. She loves Eugene, but apparently Eugene's talking about being in love with someone else, this woman named Tiffany Marie Collingwood. And Calliope's never even met her. She says things just got worse.
And instead of, making things clearer, Eugene does something really weird. He actually suggests Calliope should meet this Tiffany.
Which, naturally just makes Calliope even more confused and anxious, right?
Yeah.
Who would suggest that?
Totally. So she talks to a friend about it, lays out all her worries, how she's scared of being compared to this phantom rival.
And the friend gives her some advice that's, it's pretty practical, but also kind of cynical, maybe. She basically tells Calliope, go to the lunch. You'll come out way ahead.
Yeah, what was the friend's thinking there?
It was something like sometimes people get more interested when they see two potential partners, being compared side by side. A bit manipulative, maybe.
Okay. So Calliope, even though she's nervous, she actually goes to the restaurant, gets there first, just waiting. Eugene shows up, acting totally sure Tiffany is on her way.
And then Tiffany walks in.
Yeah.
But the way she's described in the notes, it's just odd. She starts talking about hairdressers and polyester plantations and, get this, her traveling beauty mark.
A traveling beauty mark. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the key, because as Tiffany is going on about this, Eugene notices her beauty mark. It's moved. It's not where it was supposed to be.
So
Eugene realizes. It clicks. Tiffany isn't real. It's Calliope in disguise the whole time.
No way. So Eugene wasn't cheating. It was all a game.
Seems like it. Maybe a really weird test by Eugene. Or maybe just his bizarre way of getting Calliope to admit her feelings. Who knows? But the scene ends right there with them at the table, Eugene now in on the secret. And I kind of feel like they might just keep playing this strange game.
Wow, okay. So that's one unique relationship dynamic. Let's switch gears now dramatically to something much heavier. High stakes, potential scandal. It involves Dr. Tom Horton.
Yeah, this kicks off with a newspaper article that sounds pretty damaging. It's written by a reporter, Lambert, but the notes suggest Larry Welsh is the one feeding him the info.
And this article, it really goes after Dr. Horton, doesn't it? Accusing him of questionable tactics, things that could have been fatal. That's serious.
Absolutely. And it causes immediate ripples.
Yeah.
Gwen Davies, for one, she reads it and is just horrified. She thinks it's all lies.
So what does she do?
She decides, right then, she's dropping the malpractice case against Dr. Horton, the Seleshko case. She believes he's innocent and refuses to be part of ruining his career.
But why is Larry Welsh pushing this so hard? There's got to be a reason.
Well, the notes mention he has this, long-standing grudge against the Hortons, blames them for something bad that happened to him. So it's personal.
Okay, but Gwen dropped the case.
Also, is it over?
Not quite. Because Steve tells Larry that the Seleshko kids, Marvin and Ivy, they're actually going ahead with the lawsuit anyway.
Right.
And here's the kicker. The newspaper still says Gwen Davies is their lawyer.
Oh, wow. So she's stuck right in the middle, even though she wants out.
Exactly. Big conflict for her. But then comes the real twist in this storyline.
While this is all going down, a guy named Frank Daly is reading that same newspaper article, and reading it makes him remember something. Something specific.
Like what?
He remembers Marie Horton, Dr. Horton's daughter, bringing some jackets into his dry cleaning shop.
Okay.
And inside one of those jackets, Frank found a medical ID bracelet. He checks it, and it belonged to Paul Seleshko, the patient in the malpractice case.
Whoa, wait, so Dr. Horton said Seleshko wasn't wearing an ID tag, right, when he gave him that drug?
Precisely. This bracelet directly contradicts Dr. Horton's entire defense. It's physical proof.
That changes everything. So what does Frank do?
He calls the Slashko daughter, sets up a meeting with her and Gwen. When Gwen sees the bracelet, well, despite wanting to believe Dr. Horton, she has to face it. She admits it does kind of look that way and says she has to tell the truth.
So the case is back on with Gwen.
Yep. She confirms they do have a case now, all because of that bracelet. It completely shifts the legal ground.
Man, talk about a roller coaster for Gwen.
Totally. And then, to top it off, the segment ends with Lori actually apologizing to Gwen for, everything. And she forgives him. Seems like their personal connection is maybe back on track despite all this case drama.
Okay, from legal drama back to, well, maybe even more intense drama. The fashion world. Sounds like things are pretty heated with Tony, Anna, and Alex.
Oh, yeah, big time. They're waiting on news about this massive deal with a company called Berendis. You can feel the tension. Alex is being negative and is super anxious.
But Tony's confident. Why?
He seems to think their model Jasmine is their secret weapon. He's pinning all his hopes on her.
But Anna's not so sure about Jasmine.
No, she's worried not everyone will like Jasmine's look. But Tony just shuts that down. It calls her electricity. He's very defensive of her.
So Jasmine shows up.
Right into this tense atmosphere. She even comments that everyone seemed angry. And then Tony just leaves with her. Ditches Anna and Alex right when they needed to talk to the buyers.
Ouch. Anna must have been furious.
Totally. She starts complaining about how protective Tony is of Jasmine, worried they'll lose money. Things get tense between her and Alex, too, especially since Tony basically told them they have no say about Jasmine.
But then the call comes, the one they were waiting for.
Yes. Alex takes a call from Berendis. And the news isn't just good, it's amazing. They want 200 gowns. Huge order.
Wow, so Tony was right about Jasmine.
Apparently. Because the buyer, Wasson, specifically said they love Jasmine, called her an impressive sales ingredient. Refreshing. She actually sealed the deal.
So Tony comes back expecting celebration?
Well, not exactly. He comes back, but instead of celebrating the sale first, he actually thanks Anna.
Thanks, Anna. For what?
He says the modeling experience has been great for Jasmine, that it's helped her open up, made her seem even more innocent in his eyes.
Oh, boy. That probably did not go over well with Anna.
Not at all. It just confirms her worst fears that Tony's falling for Jasmine. She completely loses it, gets furious, and declares she's firing Jasmine, right now, to stop her from snaring Tony.
But Alex steps in.
And how? This is where it gets really disturbing. Yeah. The notes say he physically grabs Anna. She cries out, "Ow!" He tells her the games are over.
What does he mean?
He's saying Jasmine stays. Because she's hot property and he wants to be rich and famous, he basically threatens Anna.
Threatens her how?
It's bad. He tells her to stop her childish garbage. He brings up some horrible past trauma, something about being back on that island picking up shells looking for Hansel and Gretel. And then he delivers this absolutely chilling line.
What does he say?
He says he'll break your legs and show you a new way of life on your knees.
Oh my God, it's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a really stark, brutal moment. Shows just how ruthless Alex is under that surface. Ends that whole storyline on a really dark, scary note about ambition and violence.
Okay. Wow. Deep breaths after that one. Let's shift again. Final storyline. Secrets, spies, and a nice show. This involves Beau and Megan.
Right. Beau's at Megan's place. Talking about wanting to get away with her. Seems romantic, right?
Yeah, sounds nice.
Megan agrees, but then there's a catch. A scheduling thing. Beau suggests going in 2 weeks, but she says she can't. She can go in 3 weeks. And that specific timing, 3 weeks out, piques Beau's interest.
Why? What's happening then?
He needs to figure that out. So he calls Shane, asks him for some spy gear specifically, a bug for Megan's phone. Shane gets it for him pretty quickly.
So they're going to listen in on her calls.
That's the plan. They install the bug, hoping to hear her talk to her darling daddy, figure out what she's up to.
And does Beau figure out the significance of that 3-week date?
He does. He realizes the weekend Megan can't go away. That's the same weekend as the ice show.
The ice show? What's that got to do with anything?
Well, Shane starts connecting some dots. He mentions names Bronsky, Welch, and something called the Triad Experiment.
Yeah.
Even Russia. It sounds like this ice show isn't just entertainment. It's tied into some bigger, maybe shadier scheme.
And Beau feels like he messed up with Welch.
Yeah, he had some kind of argument with him, and now he's worried he lost a potential source of info about all this.
So while they're waiting for calls, what do?
Shane starts searching Megan's apartment, looking for clues.
Find anything interesting?
Very. They find a book about electrical wiring and design, plus electrical tape, wires, stuff like that.
Okay, weird. Anything else?
Bo finds something else inside that wiring book, a piece of paper with just one word written on it: hope.
Hope, as in Hope Brady.
That's what they seem to think. They put the wiring stuff together with Hope's name and jump to a pretty scary conclusion. Megan is obsessed with Hope and might be planning something dangerous involving electricity.
Yikes. What about this prison thing mentioned earlier?
They talk about that too. They know some kind of prism is supposed to be passed or transferred during the ice show. But they don't know why then, or what the advantage of doing it at the show is.
So how does Bo plan to get answers?
He decides the most direct route is, well, to get himself to the ice show. He figures he'll just ask Megan about it, pretend he's suddenly into ice skating.
Does it work?
Like a charm. He asks her, she confirms she's going, and then she agrees to go with him. Perfect infiltration.
So Bo's in. He can see whatever happens firsthand.
Exactly. But just as we think that's the end of it, there's one last piece from the notes. Megan makes a phone call to her father.
Oh, what does she say?
She tells him Bo wants to go to the ice show with her, and she sounds kind of worried about it.
And what does father say?
He brushes off her concerns, says, "Trust me, the object will be transferred to you, even while Bo Brady's arms are linked in yours." He mentioned something about the diamond ice and how the object will be concealed so no one sees it.
The object. The prison.
Seems like it. And then he asks about her plans for Hope. Megan's reply is chilling. She assures him Hope will be out of my life completely tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, so that was January 31st, 1985 in Salem. We went from Calliope's bizarre disguise game
To that huge reveal with the bracelet totally changing the stakes for Dr. Horton.
then plunged into that really dark fashion world threat from Alex.
And ended up deep in a spy plot centering on an ice show, a mysterious prison, and a direct threat against Hope. What a day.
Absolutely. So you've got the highlights now. Calliope's Tiffany act, the bracelet evidence rocking the Horton case, Jasmine's success triggering Anna's fury and Alex's terrifying reaction, and Bo getting himself into the ice show right where this prison transfer is supposed to happen.
Plus that final ominous phone call from Megan. It really packs a punch.
It definitely shows how tangled everything is, right? All these different stories, but the characters bump into each other. Their actions affect each other.
And how one little thing, finding a bracelet, getting one phone call, seeing a name on a piece of paper, can just spin everything in a new direction.
So yeah, you got the essential details from this deep dive, but man, it leaves you with a ton of questions.
For sure. Like, what is the prison? And the diamond ice? What's Megan actually planning for Hope with that wiring stuff?
Yeah.
Is Dr. Horton really going down for this? And how long can Calliope keep pretending to be Tiffany?
It definitely makes you want to know what happens next, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's kind of the cool thing about these deep dives, right? You get the core info, the big moments, but you also see there's always more layers, more mysteries just underneath.
Exactly. Well, hopefully this look back at January 31st, 1985 gave you some good insights and covered all the unmissable moments from that day.
And maybe it gets you thinking about how sometimes, even in these wild fictional stories, it's the smallest things, the unexpected connections, that really drive the whole plot forward.
That's a great thought. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
That's a wrap for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like and comment for more episodes like this. Thanks for listening.